Hello. So today we're going to do some product photography. Somebody said to me recently that they really want to get into commercial work, but they just don't know how to get into it, and they've messaged loaded companies and they've all ignored them and stuff like that. So I said to them, like, well, what are you sending them? Because obviously you've never done it before. And they showed me the photos that they're sending them, and it's like, well, all I've got is pictures of these ducks and birds and sunsets and all that stuff. Firstly, that is what is going to get them to ignore you, because obviously you're not sending them any product photos. So I said, you need to send them some product photos so they actually have something that they can see what you're doing. And they said, well, how do I do that when no one gives me a chance? So this is an argument that I have a lot with people, because literally your whole house is littered with millions of products. So what we're doing today, I have chosen something that I'm quite fond of, which is Hawkstone lager. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a photograph of that and we're going to make it look fancy, hopefully. And I'm going to show you how I do it. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so first and foremost, when doing sort of product shots and things like that, location is really important, I feel. Now, I'm no farmer, but I believe this is a barley field. So what we're going to do, this is what I'm going to use to take the photograph. See, if we go over here, we've got this sort of really nice, the fluffy barley. Now at the right angle, I think that would look quite nice. Now, I'll show you what I've done. I've made a little rig, if you will. And I think if I use the right lens... Okay, so what my plan is, basically, it's a bit of a contraption. So I've got a tripod with a cage on, magic arm, and a nice wooden looking table. Now if I can get the tripod low enough, which I'm not sure if I can, but we're going to try, I should be able to sit the beer on top of this and maybe make it look fancy. So we're going to try anyway. So what I'm going to do, I might have to set you up on a stand. Now obviously I didn't get permission to use this farmer's field. There we go, there we are, there's my contraption. So I'm going to be as, respectful as possible, because obviously that's his livelihood, so we have to make sure that we don't squish anything or, anything like that. What I'm going to do, I'll pop you on my little stand in a minute. Let's screw this in. I do apologise, it's a bit shaky. Alrighty. Well, the farmers around here, to be fair, are always quite nice. I think as long as we're not sort of being disrespectful to his land, then I don't think he'll mind as such. So if you can see here, we can get the legs out quite not quite wide. So the plan is, you're not going to be able to see the tripod, but I think, can you see that? Let me just move you back a tiny bit. All right, so I think with the right lens, if I was to rest the bottle of beer on here and shoot this way, it should look quite nice. Now we might have to move it a bit further, into the field, but so I'm going to go get my camera bag. I'll take you with me, and then we can talk about what I've got. So I've got a few lenses. I've got an 85, which is something I really love. I've got a 35, which I probably will use. I've got a 50. Let me just grab me subject. I mean, Hawkstone, it's a good beer anyway. It's really nice, and I believe it is made of barley. Now, if it isn't, please feel free to tell me in the comments and tell me I'm stupid. But this is just going to be a very simple, very simple, basic photo. But I think it's going to look really nice. So obviously we're going to have a bit of photoshoppery. But I've got, just in case, I don't think I'll need it, but I've got a reflector. I've got just a squirty bottle of water, which I'm going to use to maybe add a few bubbles and, you know, make it look colder than it is. So that's basically all I'm going to do. And I think it's going to look really nice. Now I've got a circle polarizer, which I will be using, but I like to keep things very simple, very simple. That's what it's all about. Now, all right. So I think first, I'm going to try probably all the lenses, but I've got the Lumix S5 2X with the, this is the 85, I can't say it, SIRUI 85. It's a 1.4 as well, so you can really isolate the background if you really wanted to. I'm not sure if we're going to do that or not. I'm also going to be using a short stash. That's the, where's the everyday? This is a circle polarizer and black mist in one, and it's something I'm a big fan of the black mist filter. So let's pop it on and we'll see how it looks. I'm going to put you on my tripod. I'm sorry if you're a bit far away, but so basically that's the first thing we're going to do. Make sure everything's nice and clean and sparkly, and then I'm going to stick the circle polarizer on, and we're just going to do a couple of test shots and just see how it looks. Whether we need to move it a bit further into the field, I'm not sure. So, but it's this is a really nice lens. So let's get composition. Let's see. Now, oh, okay. Now, personally, that looks bloody amazing, I think. I mean, it's maybe not to everyone's taste. There is, however, a piece of barley just in the way there. But, I mean, what I can do is we can, with Photoshop, we can add maybe something into the background and just make it look quite pretty. So, that is really, actually, really quite nice. Right, so I'm going to use the CPL filter because there is a bit of a reflection on the bottle, which we don't want too much of. But personally, this is going to be just a basic photo, which I think is going to look really nice. I'm not sure whether to lift it, I don't know. We've got, you know, a little bit, I just didn't want the barley to be in the way. But with the sort of the wooden table looking part, I know you can't see it just yet, but I will add it. Just checking we're still recording because I've done that before. So, right, where's my squirty bottle gone? There we go. Right, so what I'm going to do, I don't go nuts with it, and it's literally just water. So it's just going to make it look a bit colder. And we're just going to give it a little spray and let some bubbles form, and then we can maybe get a real nice close-up shot. Now at 2.8, it's maybe a little bit too shallow of a depth of field, so I think I'm going to change this maybe let's see, I'm not too sure. Probably a 4 maybe. I think that looks just a little bit nicer. But no, I think, to be honest, and it is, again, it's very simple, basic. I'm just highlighting the ball. I'm going to leave a little bit of space, maybe we can add some graphics or their brand logo. I'm making sure that the beer bottle is straight. So there's a hair on it there, my bad. So I'm at It's very bright today, so my shutter speed is 1300. I'm at f4 and ISO 125. Now the sun has just popped away, which is great. So I'm going to do this. Now, I think what we'll do as well, I'm going to put the 35 on, just because that's a focal length that I really enjoy. I do like the 85, but the 35 it's just something, it's a bit special. So hopefully, and then we can maybe get a little bit closer. I need to change this really quickly so I don't like to change my lenses outside very often. Well, let's chuck this short stash filter back on. The everyday filter is one of my absolute favourites. Polar Pro short stash everyday filter is so it's a circle polarizer. So the circle polarizer will get rid of reflections and stuff like that. And it's also a black mist filter. And what that does is it gives like a real nice sort of bloom, hazy, sort of dreamy look, and it is something that looks really nice. So now with us using the 35, we can get a lot closer and we can fill the frame. I'm terrible at standing up straight, but that does look really quite nice. So let's see what we can do. Let's maybe do let's try 1.8 and really isolate the background. Again, this is, it's a cheap lens, it's not expensive. And that should look quite nice. Now, another thing you can do, now, I know you can't see on here, but I really want to highlight like it looks bottle, let's see the ball. And so what I'm doing, I'm shooting sort of low and up. Now, I'm going to have to change that to f4, definitely. Maybe f5. And we'll bring the shutter speed down quite some. But that does look quite nice. Because we've got the sky in there, I've got the wooden bit, and you can still see the barley. But it makes the bottle look really big. It makes it, it does look quite nice. Now, it's probably not to everyone's taste. My photos are maybe different to other people's photos, and that's what it's all about. That's fine. So, but this is how I started. Instead of saying I really need to take photos, but I need to get someone to give me a chance first, I just went around and I just took photos of products I had in my home, and that's how I got started. I've worked for some really big brands now, Volvo and all kinds of things, and but it started from just going out there, taking some pictures with the things that I had at my home and playing with them on Photoshop. So that's basically all. That's all we're going to do today. I'm really sorry if there's any wind noise because it is quite bad. I really enjoy product photos personally. It's definitely something that's it's given me quite a decent career. Commercial photography does pay quite well. No, it's not always about the money, but yeah. And the beauty of this is, when I get home, I can drink this, because who doesn't love a decent beer, Obviously, I'm not getting paid for this. This is just an example, although I would absolutely love to meet Jeremy Clarkson and take some photos of his beer for him, paid. But, this is just a sort of example to show how easy it is. I mean, how long did that take us? 10, 15 minutes? I'm going to go home, I'm going to edit it. That's going to take me maybe 10, 15 minutes. And that's it. That's it. Simple. And there we go. Right, so I'm quite happy with the photo I've taken. Make sure we haven't left anything. Chuck all this in here. and I will see you in the editing station. Bye. Okay, so I picked my favourite one, and it's quite a basic kind of photograph, really. It's straight to the point. I know exactly what I'm showing off. I didn't need to put silly logos on and words and all that stuff. It's just Hawkstone beer in a nice farmy background, and I think it looks quite nice. Will I send it to them? Probably not, because it's probably not up to their standard. But the whole point of this video was just to show that with some pretty simple things and props, you can just take stuff from your home and you can build a portfolio and have something that you can send to companies in a very short space of time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. If you've got any ideas or anything you'd like me to cover or help you with, please let me know, and I'm more than happy to do that. Bye.